Do I start now? Oh, Mingalaba, everyone, and welcome back to our Abhidhamma study class. This is class 8, and we will be learning with Sayadaw Venerable Pañiatti Kalingara. We will begin the class with our 5:30 study of how to pronounce Pāḷi in English, and then we will then proceed to the Abhidhamma lecture at 6 o'clock.
Bandi, please help us leading us with the Namo Tassa.
Can you hear?
We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. So let's start reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for leading us in Namo Tassa. We'd now like to invite you to begin the Pāḷi pronunciation method. Sayadaw, if you would like to begin.
Okay, so today we will continue the Pāḷi pronunciation practice. Actually, we already mentioned how to pronounce, and the method already you get in your hand. So just need to practice with the text. So for the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, you already learn and practice. So today we will continue to practice through the Anattalakkana Sutta, which is second sutta. And also for this sutta, it is important to learn because by listening, after listening this sutta, the 5 ascetics, which is known as, those are known as the Pancavakkhiya, they attain the arhatship. So at the end of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, only one Venerable Anyasikwantanya, he has attained the enlightenment. After that, Buddha continued teaching the remaining 4 bhikkhus to understand up to the level of enlightenment. But still, they are in the stage of sikha, we call the sikha, is called the trainees, not reaching to the arhat level. Then, 5th day after full moon of Vasu, the Buddha continued teaching this sutta. So this sutta explains the 5 aggregates in the nature of non-self. So here, anatta, lakkhana, anatta is non-self. That's why after listening this sutta, they have got the understanding in the arhat level, because fully understanding of anatta make the perfection of perfect understanding of the enlightenment. So here, anatta is the combination of na and atta. Na and atta. So lakkhana is characteristic. So focusing on the characteristic of non-self, they realize in full course of understanding. Okay, so for pronunciation, you cannot know all the words, the meaning of all the words, and just we will emphasize how to pronounce and try to recite first. Then through the reciting, you collect information and you will understand all the meaning of this one. Then here, Pancavakiye, Pancha we don't need to say already. Pancavakiye, we already practiced. Then in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the classification go through the five khanda or five aggregates classification. So starting from the Rupan. So we already introduced the five aggregates: Rupa, Khanda, Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhara Khanda, and Vijnana Khanda. So five aggregates, five khandas. And according to the classification of five khanda, the Buddha will continue his explanation about the nature. Then here, Rupan, Bhikkhave, Anatta. And Rupancha, like a Pancavakiya here, Rupancha, Hidam, Bhikkhave, Atta Apavisa. Then Naidam, Rupan, Abhadaya, Samudaya. Yeah, then the newer Samudaya. Then Labhita, after La and A and BBH, so two double consonants. So La becomes Labhita. That is Labhita ja rupe, eome rupa hotu, eome rupa ma hosidi. Yasama chako bhikkhave rupa anatta, tasama rupa abhadaya samvatati. Nacha labati, yeah, Labhita, labati. Pāḷi buff. Eome rupa hotu, eome rupa ma hosidi, same. So after that, Rupan anatta. The same way, the feeling, Vedana anatta. And Sanya anatta. Yes, Sanya, after Sanya anatta, the same continuation come, like a Vedana. So Sanya anatta, after that Sankhara anatta. Sanya anatta, Sankhara anatta. Then Vijnanam anatta. Yeah, Vijnana. Because this one in Pāḷi study, let me that about the gender. So Pāḷi gender here ending with because the rupa is a neutral form. So Rupan. For the Vedana is feminine gender. That's why Vedana anatta comes. And same Sanya anatta. And for the Sankhara, this is plural form. And because Sankhara, you may remember that if we identify by the reality, there are 50 mental fetters, 50 mental fetters. That's why the Sankhara is used to express the plural form in the plural form of the Pāḷi word, Sankhara. And for Vijnana is a neutral form. That's why like a Rupan. Here also Vedanam anatta. So if you know, quite easy to remember. Then Tanki Manyata Bhikkhave, yeah, Manyata, because originally the word nya is only one. But here, because the double nya, so double nya make the effect on the formal consonants. So ma change to man, manyata, because this is not hard word, the soft word. So manyata, bhikkhave, rupa, nityam wa anityam vadi, anityam bandi. This is the question and answer. To clarify the nature of the non-self, the Buddha started from the teaching of the anicca. So here anicca comes. At the beginning, Buddha stated 5 aggregates are non-self, anatta. After that, to clarify again, and Buddha asked the question to Pancavakiya whether nitya or anicca, rupa, for the rupa. And it will continue for all 5 aggregates. All 5 aggregate rupa. After that, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, like this, it will continue. And so here their response, their answer is anityam bandi. So anicca bandi is mean the impermanence. Then yampana nichan, dukhamvada sukhamvadi. So these are not difficult to pronounce. And after that, yampana nichan, dukkha viprinama dhamma. So another one, the Buddha inserted. Viprinama dhamma. After this, here, the pronunciation kanlam. So ka followed by the double L, double la. So we need to pronounce kanlam. Yeah, like here manyata kanlam. So only this one you need to learn in the pronunciation method. Kanlam nutam samanupasitum. So after two, the negahita come. So tu tu we pronounce tu. After tu, the negahita come tom. If it's after ta negahita come, this is called negahita. And tam. After it ten, like this. Ten o. So this negahita follow only to the three short vowels. A, I, U. So you cannot find with the long vowel. So here, itam, we pronounce here tam. But here in this case, pronounce tom. So samanupasitom. Itam mama. Iso ha masmi. Here, e and so. Iso. After that, ha masmi. Iso ha masmi. Iso me atati. No hitam bandi. After that, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, or Nichawa, Anichavadi, the Buddha continue. So then also answer will be the same. Then here, Tasma. So Ta, after that, S and M together, so double consonant. So Tasma. We need to pronounce that. Tasma. So Ta change to Ta. Tasma. Because this double consonant follow. Tasma. Yeah. Tasma bhikkhave yankinchi rupam adhidanagata pajupanam ajatawa bhitawa all larika. Here we need to pronounce all. At the beginning, the vowel is here. All larikam wa sukhumawa hinawa panitanwa yam dure samdikewa sabban rupan netamama nesoha masami nameso atati ewa metan. Then there was yatha bhutam. So yatha bhutam sammapanyaya. Here followed by double consonants. Sam. After that, map panyaya. Sammapanyaya. Then here tt. H. So this is also double consonant, T and TH. And dattaban. We have to pronounce dattaban. So da change to datta. Ta also followed by the double consonant B. Change to ba. Ta ta. So dattaban. So only this case, because of the double consonants, the pronunciation method complicated. The other case very simple. So yankinchi vedana, yakachi vedana same. So here in the case of neutral gender, you say yam kinchi rupan. Yam kinchi rupan. In the feminine gender, it comes the yakachi vedana, like this. The Pāļi change to identify the gender. So yam kinchi rupam. Yakachi vedana. And here come in at the end of the wa. But followed by the double consonant ajattam. It's ajattawa. So ajattawa, bahitawa, etc. The same will continue. Then yakachi sanya will continue. Then for the sankhara, because plural form, yekeji sankhara. And this is the only changes. Yekeji sankhara. Then Yankinji Vinyanam, like same as the Rupam. Yankinji Vinyanam. Yeah. And Evam Passam. Yeah, P E pa, but followed by the double consonant. Sa Passam. Evam Passam, Bikawi, Sutawa Ariya Sawako, Rupasamin B, Nipin the D. Yeah, neck bit, the neck bit, followed by N and D. This N and D is double consonants. So become Bain, neck Bain the D. So neck Bain the D. The pronunciation is that. And Vedanaya be Nipin the D. Sanyaya be Sankharesu be Nipin the D same. And here Nipin Dam. Nipin Dam Virajati. Virajati Ra. Followed by double J. So Virajati. Viraga, Vimujati. Here, MU mud also mo, become mo because of the double consonants. Vimujati. Viraga, Vimujati. Then Vimutas mean Vimuta miti Jnanam hodi. Then Kina jadi. Usidam Brahmachariyam. Katam Karaniyam, Naparam, Ittataya. It, originally it is it, but followed by the double consonant it. No, we pronounce it. Ittatayati. It is Ittatayati Bhajanadi. Then the other same, like a Dhammacakka Bodhana Sutta. Then only change is anupadaya asavehi chittani vimuchinsu. Yeah, we mud followed by double consonant G become mo. Vimuchinsu like this. Yeah, chit with the hida. So chit pronounced as the change because a and negahida e and negahida u and negahida o. We say that. So here, it and negahida in Vimujinsu like this. So if you can pronounce in this way, and we can recite the Anaddalakkhana Sutta. Okay. Okay, please let me share. Okay, this one. Okay, so for the second sutta, we will recite systematically the Anaddalakkhana Sutta. Okay, let's start. Ekam samayam bhagava paranasiyam viharati isi badani migadayi tadarakho bhagava Panjavagiye bhikkhu amandesi bhikkhavoti badandi di bhikkhu bhagavato pajja sosom bhagava ita davoja rupam bhikkhavi anatta rupam chahidam bhikkhavi atta abhavisa naidam rupam Avadaya samvatiya labhita ja rupi evam me rupam hodu evam me rupam mahositi yasama jakho bhikhavi rupam anatta tasama rupam avadaya samvadati naja labhati rupi evam me rupam hodu, evam me rupam mahositi. Vedana anatta, vedana jahidam bhikhavi, atta abhavisa, naidam vedana, avadaya samvatiya, labhita ja vedanaya, evam me vedana hodu, evam me vedana mahositi. Yasama jakho bhikhavi vedana anatta tasama vedana avadaya samvadati Nacha labadi vedanaya evam me vedana hodu evam me vedana mahositi Sanya anatta Sanya chahidam bhikkhave Hadda abhavisa Naidam sanya Abhadaya samvaddeya Labhethaja sanyaya Evam me sanya hodu Evam me sanya mahositi Yat samaja ko bhikkhave Sanya anatta Tasama sanya abadaya samvadati Nacha labadi sanyaya Evam me sanya hodu Evam me sanya mahositi Sankhara anatta Sankhara Chahidam bhikkhave Atta abhavi samsu Naidam sankhara Abadaya samvadiyom Labhethaja sankharesu Evam me sankhara hondu Evam me sankhara mahisomti Yasamaja ko bhikkhave Sankhara anatta Tasama sankhara avaraya samvadanti Nacha labadi sankharesu Evam me sankhara hondu Evam me sankhara mahisomti Vinyanam anatta Vinyanam chahidam bhikkhave Hadda abhavisa Naidam vinyanam Abhadaya samvaddeya Labhethaja vinyani Evam me vinyanam hodu Evam me vinyanam mahositi Yasamaja ko bhikkhave Vinyanam anatta Tasama Vinyanam avadaya samvadati Nacha labadi vinyani Evam me vinyanam hodu Evam me vinyanam mahositi Tangi manyata bhikkhave Upan nijam va anijam vadi Anijam bandi Yampana nijam Dukkham vadam sukham vadi Dukkham bandi Yampana nijam Dukkham viparinama dhammam Kalanutam samanupasitum Itam mama isoha masami Isomi adadi No hitam bandi Virana Nijawa anijawadi Anijabandi Yampana nijam Dukkham vadam sukham vadi Dukkham bandi Yampana nijam Dukkham viparinama dhammam Kalanutam samanupasitum Idam mama isoha masami Isomi adadi No hidam bandi. And this same as we have to repeat Sanya Dukkhava Dukha Nijawa Anijawadi like this. And Sankhara Nijawa Anijawadi. After that, Vinyanam Nijawa Anijawadi Anijam Bandi Yampana Nijam Dukkam Vadam Sukham Vadi Dukkam Bandi Yampana Nijam Dukkam Viparinama Dhammam Kalanutam Samanupasitum Itam mama isoha masami Isomi adadi No hidam bandi And Tasamantiha bhikkhave Yankinchi rupam Adita nagata pachupanam Ajatam va bahidava Holarikam va sukumam va Hinam va panitam va Yam dure sandike va Sabbam rupam Nitam mama nisoha masami Namiso adadi Ewa medam yatha buddham Samapanyaya databam Yakaji vedana Adidana gadapachubana Ajattava bahidava Holarikam va sukumam va Hinam va panitam va Yadure sandike va Sabha vedana Nitam mama nisoha masami Namiso adadi Ewa metam yatha buddham samapanyaya databam Yakaji Sanya, Adidana Gata Pajubana, Ajatawa Bahidawa, Olarigawa Sukumawa, Hinamwa Panidamwa, Yaduri Sandikiwa, Sabha Sanya, Nita Mama Nisoha Masami, Namiso Adadi, Iwa Midam Yata Budam, Samapanyaya Databam. Yeki Sankhara Adidana Gata Pajupana Ajatawa Bahidawa Olarikamwa Sukumawa Inamwa Banitawa Ye Duri Sandikiwa Sabe Sankhara Nitamama Nisohama Sami Namiso Adadi Ewa Medam Yata Budam Samapanyaya Databam Yanginchi Vinyanam Adidana Gata Pajubanam Ajadawa Bahidawa Olarigawa Sukumawa Inawa Banidawa Yam Duri Sandikiwa Sabam Vinyanam Nidamama Nisoha Masami Namiso Adadi Iwa Midam Yatha Budam Samabanyaya Databam Ewan Pasam Bhikkhave Sudawa Ariya Sawako Upasami Binibindadi Viranaya Binibindadi Sanyaya Binibindadi Sankhari Subinibindadi Vinyana Sami Binibindadi Nibinda Virachadi Viraga Vimujadi Vimudasmi Vimudamidi Jnanam Hoti Hina Jadi Usidam Brahmachariyam Kadam Karaniyam Nabaram Itathaya Di Pajanadi Idamawaja Bhagava Adamana Pancavagiya Bhikkhu Bhagavato Basitam Abhinandom Imasamin Jabana Vyakaranasmin Anyamani Pancavagiyanam Bhikkhunam Anupadaya Asavehi Cittani Vimuchin Sudi. Okay, so for this case, the Sanya, Sankhara all need to repeat. So I will rearrange for the full text to complete. So Vedana, Nijja, Anicca in this way, and Sanya I will arrange and then I will send it to you, and things that we can recite the full text of Anatta Lakkhana Sutta because we already know how to pronounce. The method of pronunciation is okay. So do you have any question for the pronunciation in this sutta? And you can ask.
Feel free to unmute yourself because I just enable unmute. Go ahead.
So it seems you already learned the pronunciation method and just need to practice find the text.
Seattle, I have a question.
Okay.
Seattle, the third line,
Okay.
Bakasosam, can you help me pronounce that one?
Third line, okay, let me see.
The last word of the third line.
Okay. Yeah, Pacha. Yeah, but because P-A, Pa is followed by the double C, so Cha. So it becomes Pit, so Pacha. But actually in Myanmar and international pronunciation in this case different. So if you follow the Myanmar pronunciation, because this 2C is Sa in Myanmar, Sa, the Pāļi is Sa. So we pronounce Pit because Pa Sa Ta Pit Myanmar. But in the international pronunciation, because they just identify the tone of the consonants. So C, sa is hard, quite hard. That's why it's called pa, like this, like a god or da, at the pacha so.
Cha so so.
Yeah, pacha. Here also CA is followed by the double S. So pacha so.
So. Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, pacha so. This case is difficult, right? Yeah, thank you for your question.
There's another really long word. I think it's in the middle. I didn't highlight it. I think that's the one. It's really long.
This one. Yeah.
Which one is that?
Here, Atita Nagata Pacha.
Yes,
right?
that's the one. Atita Nagata Pachupanam.
Yes, three words combined. Atita is past. Anagata, future. Pachupana is present. So three words together become long. Atita, Nagata, Pachupana. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Atita, Nagata, Pachupana. Here also the word pana and anicca come together. It becomes pana nicca.
Pana nicca.
Yeah, pana nicca. And another one, viparinama dhamma. So viparinama and dhamma we already familiar. So you just need to learn the viparinama. So viparinama dhamma.
Viparinama dhamma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to find out the difficulty when you are reading yourself, where you have difficulty, and then you make a note, mark, and then next week before we start, and then we will open for the question and answer to clarify how to pronounce. After that, we will recite together for the Anattalakkhana Sutta. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Citta, for leading us in the practice for Pāḷi pronunciation. We would like to now invite you to begin the Abhidhamma lecture portion of the class. Citta, you would like to begin? Thank you.
Okay, so we will continue to the Abhidhamma study. So last week we have studied about the Citta. Okay. So this week we will finish the study of Citta part 2. Okay, yeah, let's see. And before we continue part 2, we need to review part 1, what we can learn for part 1. And okay, here for the study of the Citta, we see, and we already introduced about them, and nature of the consciousness as mentioned in the Sutta. So in this case, you have to remember that the frequency of the mind movement is very fast, too fast to even and to give the simile of example is not easy. So this is the nature, and although it is, it arises in very fast procession, and it arises only one moment, and one type of consciousness arise at one moment. So two types of consciousness cannot arise at the same moment. So one after another, they come in the process. And this is the important nature we have to know. And also this can take the object very far. So these are the nature we have introduced. Then after that, here we explain about the Citta Niyama. So Citta, according to the Citta Niyama is fifth order of consciousness, fifth order in that system. So nobody arranged for that. It naturally comes. That's why we call the Niyama and the fifth order. So according to the fifth order of the consciousness, when the consciousness arises, it arises through 6 sense door. So a 6th door. So 5 sense door and mind door become the 6th door to arise the consciousness. And according to the element discourse on the elements, we call it dhatu, so elements. And so the consciousness, only one reality, but it divided into 7 types. So eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind element, and mind consciousness element, 7 types. Altogether, 89 consciousness. And we have already mentioned that because the reason why they are classified into 7 is the different function. So they perform different function when they arise. And this is the reason. And also sometimes based upon their cause. So here, the 2 consciousness performing the same function of seeing. How we can identify into 2, classify into 2. The reason is one is cause, the cause is unwholesome karma. Another one, the cause is wholesome karma. That's why although they are same in the name of their unconsciousness, but they become 2 in number because one is akusala karma, production of akusala karma, the other is production of kusala karma. And in this way, function make different and cause make different. Sometimes feeling, the accompanying feeling, in some consciousness, they are accompanied joyful feeling. Some accompanied by equanimity feeling, like this. So according to the feeling also, they are classified in this way. And at the beginning, all consciousness have the nature of knowing the object. This is their common characteristic of all consciousness, all 89 consciousness. They know the object, just aware. Know means just aware, not knowing all information. And that is the common characteristic. All consciousness have the common characteristics. After that, we can classify according to the function. After that, according to the cause, according to the their accompanying feeling. So in this way, consciousness, even one types of reality become 89 types. So in this case, we see the 7 types. Then we classify more and more according to different identification. So they become the 89 types. Among the 89 types of consciousness, they are not the same, one and another. So we can list first one and second different. In any case, must be different. Okay, so this is how we classify consciousness into different types. Then in this slide, we explain that the indicating past life, future life, and present life. So how the consciousness arises in the life, during the life. So past life also our consciousness arises and passed away, arise, passed away. In this way, the continuation comes to the present life. If we still have the condition to continue, our conscious process of consciousness will continue in the future life too. At the time, future life arises, and then our present life will become past life. So same as the past life, and the future will become the present life. In this way, as long as we could not attain the arhatship, and the life continuation will go. So it's called the samsara. And if we are not practicing meditation to attain the arhatship, the samsara is called the endless. Because the past condition to present. So present condition to future in continuation goal. Okay, so in this slide, we classify the Lokiya and Lokuttara. So 81 mundane consciousness called Lokiya, and 8 consciousness transcending the world. So after the attainment of the 8 supramundane consciousness, by the power of them, the force to continue in the life continuation are cut off. Then the ends come. So it is called the transcendent, the world. So that is why 8 Lokuttara Citta are differentiated from the mundane consciousness, 81 Lokiya Citta. So this understanding related to the 31 plane of existence, because the world Loka are reference to the 31 plane of existence. It one continue the life, continue the in the life of 31 plane of existence. It is T continuation. Okay, so then 89 Citta can be classified into 4 groups according to the plane of existence. So sensual plane and the 54, and fine material sphere, Rupavachara 15, and immaterial sphere become 12. So transcendence of their consciousness, this is the Lokuttara Citta supramundane consciousness 8. So all together 89 consciousness. This is the classification by way of plane of existence, Okasa Loka. And 3 related to the world. And the last one, transcendence of the world. Then we have explained about the classification according to the nature, jati. So the nature, when they arise, they have their own specific nature, and also they have the nature to produce the resultants. And the akusala and kusala identified according to their nature and according to their productive resultant, projection of resultant, dukkha or sukha, like this. And vipaka, being resultant of the former 2 types, karma produce the 2, akusala and kusala are karma. And vipaka are the resultant of this karma. And in this slide we will explain. Then kriya is functional. So functional means neither karma nor resultant of karma, just activity. So just activity, mental activity, not capable of producing karma result, karmic result. So it also does not produce. Although it is it's also not resultant, just activity. And in this way, if we classify the unwholesome karma 12, wholesome karma 21, unwholesome citta 12, wholesome citta 21, resultant citta 36, and functional 20. So in this way, we can classify 89 citta into 4 groups again. So according to the Dhammasangani teaching in the Abhidhamma text, original text, is divided into only 3 groups, not 4 groups. Very similar, but only 3 groups. The Kusala Dhamma. Here, the second group, Kusala Dhamma. After that, Akusala Dhamma, first group. Then the remaining 2 groups are collectively called the Abhyagata Dhamma. Yeah, Abhyagata Dhamma. Indeterminate nature, indeterminate types are called the Abhyagata. This third group of Abhyagata refers to the resultant and functional type. So this is the original teaching of the Abhidhamma Dhammasangani. There we call the Tika Matika. So Tika Matika, Matika is content. Classify the reality into 3 groups. That is called Tika Matika. Tika is 3 in Pāļi. So in that Tika Matika, in all cases, the ultimate reality are divided into 3 groups like this. So if you study, continue study your Abhidhamma study, and then you will learn how the Buddha teach in advanced level of Abhidhamma teaching. So now we are collecting the basics information to continue for the advanced understanding. So without understanding the basic classification, so if we continue the advanced level explanation, we cannot understand. All comes to confusion. Okay, so you need to keep the information. Then we will continue in advanced level. Then, okay, now let's talk about the karma and resultant fast. Here. Okay. The karma. You already, as a Buddhist, you're already familiar with the word karma. So karma. What is called karma? And usually, we know karma is the kaya karma, vaci karma, mano karma, like this. Kaya karma performed by the body, so it's called the bodily action. But vaci karma performed in bodily, so it's called the verbal action. And for mano karma, it's only mental action, not using the body or speech. Only mentalities, mental process, or mental activities. That's why in this way, we understand three karma. But in all cases of karma, regardless of the materiality, material process of materiality, so if we make something if we commit something by body, is called kaya karma. So also that is just involved in the movement of the body. The reason come inside, that is cetana, which is called volition. So when we intentionally make any movement or any action inside the mental process, so as an internal cause, the volition comes. If you want to have the whole good nature of volition come, it's called the kusala karma. If you want to disrupt others and trying to harm others, at that time, inside your mental process is volition, bad volition, we call so the unwholesome volition, unwholesome cetana, akusala cetana arise as a cause. So when you speak, also the same. When you speak some words to help others, the volition is good volition as a cause. And when you speak something to harm others, at that time, the volition is regarded as the bad volition. This is internal cause. So now we understand in every action of bodily and verbal also caused by the volition. So that is why we call the volitional activities. If we don't make intentionally something, it is not called the karma. It's just a movement. You move intentionally. So it is not committing karma. So it is just a movement. That is why karma refers to the volitional activities, especially refers to the mental factors of volition. So it is called karma. That karma produces the result. So result of karma, vipaka in Pāļi. So now we understand karma and it is vipaka. So karma can be classified into two. We already said that kusala karma and akusala karma in the classification according to Jadi, first and second are regarded as karma. So kusala karma, the volitional activity associated with wholesome consciousness. So when the wholesome consciousness arises, there volitional activity or the mental factors of volition accompany. That is called kusala kamma. And we will see what are the wholesome consciousness in the next slide. Okay, so when akusala consciousness arises, also the mental factors of volition accompany, because the mental factors of volition is universal to all consciousness. It accompanies to all consciousness. That's why whenever consciousness arises, the volition will associate with the consciousness. So now, wholesome consciousness arises, volition accompany or associate with that, and unwholesome consciousness arises also, the volition associate. These volitions are called the kamma, but according to the nature, they are classified into two types, akusala kamma and kusala kamma. Then for the resultant also, when the kusala kamma produce the resultant, is called the resultant consciousness of wholesome, kusala vipaka citta. Because the cause is kusala kamma. The resultant is called kusala vipaka. But actually, it is types of vipaka according to the nature. So here, you don't need to confuse that. Kusala here refers to the cause. So kusala vipaka means the resultant consciousness of wholesome karma, actually resultant. For the second type, the productive karma is akusala. So the name also comes akusala vipaka. So the resultant consciousness of unwholesome karma. Okay, this is the karma as two classes of karma. And we have to classify vipaka, resultant also into two types. Okay, so let's consider again karma, kusala and akusala. When they produce, resultant also become kusala vipaka and akusala vipaka. So vipaka become two types. For the functional, it is not wholesome and not unwholesome, and also cannot produce. So we don't need to classify for this case. Here, kusala, akusala as a cause, and vipaka can be two types, and kiriya, function. This is the way how we have to keep our basic understanding before we study the classification of consciousness. Otherwise, all the name are not understandable, confusion, and then you may think the classification of the consciousness is difficult. Actually, after understanding this information and the consciousness, the classification of consciousness are not that complicated. Okay, so let's see how we can classify the consciousness into 89 or 122. So first of all, we have to focus on the classification of 89 types. Okay, let's start from the bottom. The first one, akusala. We already said that akusala, unwholesome consciousness, 12. Then to see that the akusala consciousness are classified according to their roots. Root is lobha, dosa, hatred, and moha, delusion. All three are the roots of the unwholesome, because they already have the unwholesome nature. So we classify akusala citta, unwholesome consciousness, according to the roots. So here, the greed-rooted consciousness, 8. Hatred-rooted consciousness, 2. And delusion-rooted consciousness, 2. Altogether, 12 consciousness, regarded as unwholesome, akusala. So just, through the explanation, you just need to understand and also try to memorize what are the akusala and how many. So this will support you to understand in the next lesson like this. So the second group, Ahituka, this is according to the classification of the Abhidhamma Sangaha, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma in English translation. Here are the Ahituka, here the Wahitu referring to the roots. So art is negative. So Ahituka means the consciousness with roots. Here because of art negative, meaning Ahituka, consciousness without roots. So we can translate rootless consciousness. For the second group, rootless consciousness 18. So the explanation in former slide is very useful in this case, because we already understand vipaka resultant can be two types, akusala vipaka and kusala vipaka. Here, don't consider about the ahituka dawa, just see akusala vipaka, unwholesome resultant, and kusala vipaka, wholesome resultant. So for the 18 ahituka citta, two groups, akusala vipaka, unwholesome resultant 7, and kusala vipaka, wholesome resultant 8. Altogether, resultant consciousness 15. We can say the resultant consciousness 15 in the out of the rootless 18. And the last group, kiriya, is translated as functional, only 3. So rootless consciousness 18 divided into 3 groups, but 2 groups are resultants and three consciousness functional. Okay, now we got the 2 groups, and these 2 groups are collectively called the asobana citta. Here, not beautiful. 30 consciousness in 2 groups. Unwholesome 12 and rootless 12, rootless 18. 30 consciousness are called not beautiful consciousness, because for the akusala, it is clear that because they have the unwholesome nature, they cannot be beautiful. Another type here, ahituka, rootless, because they are devoid of roots. Roots make stability. So by the absence of roots, they are not so stable because of the without roots. The nature of the consciousness is considered as not stable. That is why 2 groups by their own reason called asobana citta, not beautiful, 30. Okay, so the remaining, so except 30, the 59 remaining consciousness are called the sobana, because they have the roots and also they have the beautiful nature. Beautiful nature. That's why the remaining 59 are called sobana citta, in English, beautiful consciousness. Okay, so now we get the classification. According to the classification, 2 groups, beautiful and not beautiful. And here, akusala, why they are regarded as not beautiful, is because of unwholesome nature. And second group, ahituka, because of rootless, they are not beautiful. On the other hand, if we find here, except ahituka, here akusala also have the roots, lobha, dosa, moha. So the other also have the roots, 59. So if we add 59 and 12, it becomes sahituka. So we said that consciousness with roots, when you consider the how many will be with roots. Except 18 ahituka, the other will be sahituka. So altogether 71 consciousness are with roots and 18 rootless. So become the 89 consciousness again. Then let's continue according to the classification of the Abhidhamma Sangaha. Then number 3, still Kama Vachara. So here, if you go this side, the classification, this column cover the 3 groups. All are Kama Vachara Citta. So first group, wholesome 12, Ahituka 18, and sense-pure beautiful, because here still sense-pure 24. If we come there, 54 Kama Vachara Citta. 3 groups. From the lowest 3 groups are sense-pure consciousness, Kama Vachara Sovana. So in this case, 24 are beautiful and 30 not beautiful. We can classify their sense-pure consciousness into 2 types, beautiful and not beautiful. Sovana 24 and Asovana 30. Okay, so the other types are not difficult because they have the same number in 3 portions, in 3 groups. So Kama Vachara Sovana altogether 24. If we classify, so wholesome, kusala. So good refers to kusala, wholesome. And with refers to vipaka, so resultants. Kriya, functional. So in each group consists of the 8 consciousness, become the 24 beautiful consciousness, sense-pure. So this is called the wholesome kusala vipaka kriya. In the same way, if we study about the classification of rupa vachara, so yeah, out of their sensual sphere consciousness, the remaining, so rupa vachara, rupa vachara 5 material sphere, and arupa vachara immaterial sphere, these 2 groups collectively called the Mahakata, 27. So 12 and 15 become 27. They are called the sublime consciousness and Mahakata, all are jhana consciousness. So here, if you talk that Mahakata, these are called the jhana. So 54 sense sphere consciousness, no jhana at all. They are not jhana. And they are Mahakata consciousness are called the jhana consciousness. Okay, so the jhana consciousness, 5 material sphere consciousness, also divided into 3 groups: wholesome 5, resultant 5, functional 5. So wholesome in the ordinary person and trainee, for them in their process of ordinary puthujjana and trainee sekha, the wholesome consciousness arises. As a result of wholesome consciousness, the vipaka in the respective realm of existence will arise, which is identical with the cause. So here, cause and result we see. After that, for the arahat mind, the kriya functional consciousness arises. In this way, the types of the consciousness are divided into 3. So wholesome, referring to their ordinary and trainees, the puthujjana and sekha. And vipaka is the resultants, because trainee and puthujjana have to continue their life. So in the life, the resultant consciousness will be produced by the karma. Then for the araha, because they already eradicated the defilements and clinging, all the actions are not considered as karma. That's why their activity cannot produce the result for the next life. That's why they are just functional. So in the rupa vachara, because rupa vachara 15, wholesome 5, resultant 5, kriya 5. Then arupa vachara immaterial sphere 12, because they are wholesome 4, resultant 4, functional 4. So not difficult they are to understand and remember also. And if we calculate the 27 Mahakata, they will be collectively counted. Here, kusala, 2 group together, 9. Vipaka, 2 group together, 9. Functional, 2 group together, 9. Okay, so for the Lokuttara, In case of supramundane consciousness, the Metta and Pāḷi only. So here you need to know that Metta part consciousness is wholesome types in its nature. Metta is wholesome type, and Pāḷi, fruition consciousness, is a resultant types. So in the supramundane, only two types, wholesome and resultant. Because after removing defilements by the power of Metta, the Metta completely destruct. So completely destruct. After removing, no more re-arising of the defilements, kilesa. That is why for the Metta, it does not need to repeat again in the Arhat mind. After being Arhat, Metta will not repeat. That is why there is no functional consciousness in the supramundane consciousness. Only two types, wholesome and resultant. So this makes the difference, the Lokiya and Lokuttara. Lokuttara does not need to repeat for the cause, wholesome. So only two types, we have to remember that, wholesome and resultant. So 8 Lokuttara. So for 40, we will not explain this time. Okay, let's count it. Wholesome 12, Ahituka 18, rootless 18. Together, they are called the Asobana, not beautiful 30. And also with the 24 sense pure beautiful consciousness, they are called the 54 Kamavachara Citta. After that, if we continue the number 4 group, 5 material sphere according to the plane of existence, Rupavachara, and the number 5 group, Arupavachara 12. And these two groups are called together the Mahakata 27 because they are same in the nature of the jhana. And the last one, Lokuttara, only 8. So in this way, we understand the 89 types of consciousness in the roughly classification, not analyzing in detail. So for detailed classification, we have to continue our study. What are the 8 Loba Mula Citta and Dosa Mula, and what are the Vibhaka in each types. But now we understand types and their number. Okay, let's see. The akusala. So for the nature classification, we already got the number in former slide, but we will identify and through the specific identification of the consciousness here. Among the 89 types, we only find the akusala in number one group. So only 12 are wholesome. So there is no akusala in the Rupavachara or Arupavachara or Lokuttara. So only in the group of Kamavachara. So wholesome 12 consciousness can be found. But in Patthana, if you recite or if you listen to Patthana recitation, you will see the akusalang kaya kama like this. In the Kamavachara, in case of Kamavachara, akusala is identified. But Rupavachara, Arupavachara never identify with the akusala because there is no akusala for Rupavachara and Arupavachara. Okay, so what about the Rupavachara? Brahma also have the attachment. Is this not akusala, or you may consider, but it does not say in this way. The akusala arises in Brahma's process. This is compared to the sensual beings process. It's only a few cases. That's why the wholesome nature is not in the Rupavachara, but still it can arise in the Brahma's mind. We already explained that why we call the Kamavachara or Rupavachara, because it's common arising, or they are mostly arise in the plane of existence, sensual plane and the sensual beings. Okay, so now akusala 12. Then for the wholesome case, we already said that 21 types. So let's count how it becomes 21. In the sensual sphere classification, among the 54 consciousness, we counted how many kusala. So here we only get that. Number 3 group, wholesome consciousness, only 8. Here you will see the wholesome result. Actually, this is a result and not wholesome. That's why if we calculate the wholesome consciousness among the 54 sense-sphere consciousness, we get only 8. In the true group of 5 material sphere and immaterial sphere, we get the 9 wholesome. So these are called the 9 and the sense sphere 8. We call the Lokiya Kusala. So how many Lokiya Kusala? 17. Yeah, 17 Lokiya Kusala. Then we said that Metta is Lokuttara Kusala. That's with the Metta altogether 21 wholesome consciousness. 21 wholesome consciousness. Then, so let's see another resultant types, 36. Resultant consciousness 36. Then let's see the first group. In the first group, how many resultants? Akusala, no need to consider. Here, second group, 15 resultant, 8 and 7. 15 resultant consciousness with the 8 in the beautiful group. So 23 resultant consciousness out of the sense sphere 54. Now with the 5 material sphere and immaterial sphere, resultant 9. So how many Lokiya Vipaka? So you have to take a note. If you have the printed paper. Or to 32 mundane resultants. So we have to understand how many mundane and how many supramundane too. Because mundane have the different nature than supramundane. Because mundane karma produce resultants. Then here Lokiya Vipaka. The Lokiya Vipaka considered as in the process of the life's continuum. So if we study in Paticca Samuppada, it is important to know what are the Lokiya Vipaka. So now we get the 32. With the supramundane resultant crucial consciousness 4. So altogether 36 resultants. Okay, so for functional, let's continue to functional. For functional in the Kamavachara Citta 54. So functional is here in second group, rootless functional 3, and the sense sphere beautiful functional 8. So 11 Kamavachara Kiriya. Kamavachara Kiriya 11. And with the 5 material sphere and immaterial sphere, 9 functional. So it becomes 20 functional consciousness. Okay, so let's see here the Lokiya 81. We don't need to mention. We already understand there, except the Lokuttara, the others are called the Lokiya 81. So here, what are the number of 37 and 52? I will explain that. Here, the 8 consciousness. Supramundane 8 consciousness, Mega 4, Phala 4. So this is without the attainment of jhana, not connected to the jhana. If we connect it to the 5 jhana, so there are 5 jhana according to Abhidhamma classification. So if we multiply 8 by 5 jhana, so it becomes 14. So this is how it becomes. If a person just practice the vipassana meditation without practicing the samatha meditation, when that person attain the enlightenment, this is called a mega, the enlightenment level. The mega, without any connection of the jhana, only 8. So all the mega and phala 8. But for the person who practice the samatha concentration, the concentration meditation, samatha meditation, then after that after the attainment of jhana, continue to vipassana. It can be different way. Based upon the concentration of first jhana, the continuation is the first jhana, mega and phala. So become different from the only vipassana practitioner. Then one practice for based upon the second jhana. It's associated with second jhana, it's become different, but the nature of mega and phala were not different, but the associated mental factors and the power of concentration is different. So the 5 jhana have the different nature. So association, the supramundane consciousness based on the 5 jhana also different. That's why it becomes the 40 consciousness enlarged. We call it enlarged. So in brief, Lokuttara supramundane is only 8. Enlarged, which is multiplied by 5 jhana, because connected to the 5 jhana. So the supramundane consciousness becomes 40. So 4 mega become 20. 4 phala become 20. In this way, if we replace if 4 mega to 20 mega, because it's based on the attainment of jhana, and 4 phala to 20 phala. So the number changed 21 to 37, 36 to 52. So we call this is the wholesome, large version of wholesome and large version of resultants. So in this way, if we enumerate the consciousness, types of the consciousness also, in brief 89 and enlarged 121. Okay, so this is how we have to keep the roughly understanding about the classification of consciousness based upon plane of existence, sensual, and 5 material sphere, immaterial sphere, Lokuttara, and also based upon their nature, the wholesome, unwholesome, resultant, and functional, and also based upon the root, with root and without roots. So Hituka 18 and Sahituka 71. Okay, so this for today's explanation, I think this is quite enough to have the new information. I'm afraid that too much information. You can have too much information that confused. Okay.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for the Abhidhamma lecture on the Cittas. We are now going to move on to the question and answer session. If anyone would like to ask questions outside of the questions that were already posted to the chat before this class, you can raise your hand or unmute